My name is Berthold. I've been the principal timpanist in the Mississippi Symphony since 1982. Tonight's interesting because it features a concerto solo by the timpanist, which is a player that's not normally featured as a solo instrument. It's usually used just to kind of create accents and punctuate along with trumpets and the basses. In this case, we're playing pieces out of the classical period, and generally in the classical period there's very, very few pieces written for timpani as a solo instrument. Well, I want to thank my family for their support on tonight's concert. They've been very helpful. My wife, Ann, she's also a member of the percussion section here, and she's been very, very supportive through this whole process. It's been great.
It's wonderful being here with you in this space. We always love being in this space, an intimate space. All spaces like this, but in this one particular, right here at home for many of us. Some of us actually walked next door to be at this concert. I'm sure some of you too. I'm going to surprise you by telling that of the three pieces on tonight's program, the piece that has been in my mind the most over the past year since we first programmed this concert is the piece that we're about to do. Not that gorgeous piece by Caroline Shaw, which is now actually a major piece of the repertoire in America, all across the country, or the great Haydn Symphony, but the piece we're about to do. And it is because I'm fascinated by the fact that anyone would conceive of writing it in the first place. It is a solo piece, a concerto written for orchestra and 6 drums, 6 timpani. Most of us know all of this, but these are kettle drums. These are timpani. These are drums that are unique in the repertoire, in the repertoire of instruments in the world, in that they are pitched instruments. Very few drums can be considered pitched. That is to say, they're cranked up and more or less play a particular note. These drums, what are extraordinary about kettle drums, timpanis, are that they are essentially the same instrument that came to Europe 550 years ago from the Turkish Empire. Many of you may know, those of you who are Renaissance scholars, and we do have a few in this room, know that there are pictures of these on either side of great Arabian horses in battle. Poor horse, right? And the drummers were drumming as they were going into battle. This kettle drum, this bowl of copper is exactly the same. What is different is the top. This was, of course, for two centuries in Europe, this was calf skin. Of course, before that, it was most any animal hide. And very simply, you take the bowl and you stretch that hide across the top and you crank it. You crank it down and you take T wrenches and you just keep cranking until you get the hide at the exact pitch, more or less, that you want it to be. And there it stays. These drums are permanently tuned to each of their pitches. At least that's the way it was at the time. So getting back to my fascination with this piece, my own personal fascination with this piece, is that 225 years ago, a contemporary of Franz Joseph Haydn would get it in his mind that he could actually take not just the 2 or 3 of these, as usually existed in a one locale, get 6 of them, tune them to 6 different pitches out of the 7 that are in the scale. So he almost has a full scale, melodic scale, and then find a performer who could actually execute such a thing and write a piece of music that essentially treats this larger instrument, single instrument, as a melodic instrument, as a lyrical instrument that can play a line. And indeed, that's what I think you're about to witness. What we have enjoyed this week, putting it together, and I think what I have enjoyed with my colleagues this week, and what I think your enjoyment of this piece, I anticipate, is going to be, is watching one of the great artists in this state today, Berthold, do exactly what I suppose his contemporary did 225 years ago. Not only execute all the notes, but actually somehow bring artistry to it and play melodies and indeed play musical lines. So here now is a piece written those many years ago. I think it's in about 1800, this piece for 6 timpani, pitched from the lowest drum to the top, G, is the bottom, A, B, C, D, and the smallest drum in there is the E. So 6 of the 7 notes of a C major scale. And here we go, Mr. Bud Berthold.